Hey, people. Welcome back to Let's Read Higurashi. Um, Last chapter was pretty good. We got the news that Tomodachi and Takano died, which, was expected, though we had got the twist that Takano's body was found burnt in the mountains. And I guess that's pretty interesting whether it was actually different or maybe they just burnt her body in the last one and they just never found it. Which could be an option, though it does seem really weird. Um, also, I really appreciate Keiichi streaming again, and it's kind of mean, but I really feel like Keiichi's voice actor shines whenever he's streaming. Like that phone call while he was screaming at Shion was so good. Like that was such a good scene. Also, the monologue before he got home was also really good. So yeah, lots of good Keiichi scenes this episode. But now that the crimes happened and Keiichi's aware of it, might be time to put on his detective hat. Detective Keiichi in the last episode wasn't the greatest, but I mean, he still did stuff, so hopefully he's a little better this time. And I'm guessing that we're gonna join forces with Shion. It seems the most obvious, but yeah. Also, we got some information about the three families with Furude and Sonozaki being two that we were expecting, and Kimiyashi, or is it Kibiyashi? I keep forgetting. Like I was suspecting him kind of early on in the first novel, but it looks like he's also a great family, and he's missing. So, which is weird because they don't know where he went, and that means if you assume that that's the case, that means they don't cause the missing person for the Anakatsushi. So it's kind of throwing a wrench in my plans a bit. But we'll see if I had to guess. Like, I don't know. Like, the options are they killed two people this year instead of killing one and sacrificing one. But they're claiming that they didn't sacrifice Chibiyashi, which is weird. So he just disappeared for other reasons. I don't know. We're gonna have to see, but it's interesting. Let's get started though. Oh, my song. There's no way I'd be able to sleep. When she hung up the phone like that, I realized for the first time what kind of situation I was in, as well as who was the only ally who would support me was. Also, I find it's kind of interesting, but what if, kind of thought of it afterwards, but what if Mion was pretending to be Shion on the phone and was just trying to get a confession out of Keiichi to confirm that he wasn't doing anything? Though that's what I thought at the end, but it doesn't really make that much sense since it's kind of assumed that Mion, or not even Mion, but the villagers killed them. So I don't know how much that actually holds up, but I think that would be interesting to try to confirm Keiichi's stance on the issue anyways. Did I read this? I think I did. I waited with bated breath for Shion to calm down and call me back. What would I do if the phone rang while I was sound asleep? No matter how long I waited, however, it never rang. Exhausted, whenever my mind started to wander, I would jolt awake as though I heard the phone ring. In the end, I brought up the cordless phone with me into my futon and went to sleep with it in my arms, though it still didn't amount to anything. Morning came, and by that time I was pretty sure she wasn't calling back. That was when a fierce drowsiness assailed me. I slapped myself in the face a few times. Then I went to the washroom and washed my face, which was something I usually didn't do. That wasn't enough either, so I even brushed my teeth. After that, I was finally wide awake. When Mom saw how strange I was acting, her eyes went wide.
どうしたのケイチ？今日はどこかにお出かけでもするの？
うん、学校に。
Well, that was weird.
ケイチ
Probably a
君、
glitch.
なんだか今日も調子悪そう。
I wonder if he's gonna be as isolated as he is from his friend group this time. I'm assuming he is going to be, and rely more on Shion. But it'd be interesting for an episode if he doesn't get isolated, or doesn't isolate himself from the friend group. Maybe even try to solve it together, even though it's kind of inherently hard with Mion and Rena. But, you know, he's still got the other two, right? And Rika is probably useful. No offense to Toto.
やっぱり風邪かな。
風邪じゃなくて寝不足なんだ。寝ぼけてわけのわかんないことを言い出したらフォローよろしくな。
ケイチ君、寝ぼけたらどんなこと喋り出すのかなちょっと楽しみかも。
I felt utterly shattered, and I still hadn't picked myself back up this morning. And for precisely that reason, Rena's honest smile was a sight for sore eyes.
よ、
Sad
ケイ
Mia.
ちゃんにレナ。
Why you look so
hiya.
sad?
あれれみーちゃんもなんだか寝不足な感じ
Oh
だ
yeah,
よ。
she was busy looking for what's his name? I feel it's in Kibayashi, but I know it had an M in it. Kimiyashi? Whatever. Mion had gone home early yesterday with a hangover, but she didn't look too good this morning either. Her usual cheerfulness was completely buried in shadow.
うん。寝たの3時ぐらいだからね。眠い。
3時？昨日に続いてか？おいおい、夜更かしにも限度ってもんがあるぞ。大方漫画の単行本が面白くなっちゃって一巻から読破してしまったんだろ。
Yo, relatable. I've done that. Read a whole manga series in a day when you don't intend to. Just happens, bro.
うんうん、俺にも経験があるぞ。
I feel you, Keiichi. I joked trying to shake off my sleepiness. I was trying to be considerate. However, neither Mia nor Rena smiled. In fact, they didn't even pay attention. Ouch. Rena's expression immediately darkened.
あれひょっとして村長さんのこと
Ooh, Rena knows.
まだ見つかってないの？
うん。
おい、ちょっと待ってくれ。村長さんが見つかってないって何の話だ？
Rip Kimiyoshi. I feel like if I had to guess, he was... I know this sounds weird and kind of out of place, but I had to guess he was taken by a second party. Because it wouldn't be the villagers. Why would the villagers kidnap their own mayor and sacrifice him? He's been pretty good. Like, we don't know too much about him, but last episode we got a hint of him helping to organize the Watanagashi festival. So, I mean, who's the second party? The mysterious group? Maybe it's... Oh, what if they're like... What if Tomotaki is... Well, I think Tomotaki is part of something, at least. Since he has a fake name. I don't know about Takino. But what if, like, for revenge, they kidnap the mayor? That'd be interesting. Because I definitely don't think it's the villagers. And, I mean, the only other option is the curse. But I think it's pretty easy to establish that the curse isn't making people disappear. So there's only Uishi and the mysterious group. And it could be Uishi making a power move. But it seems pretty reckless on his part. Well, he always likes to seem... he likes to keep a distance. That's why he was using Keiichi last time, right? And not be too aggressive into the problem. But that's all I can think of. I mean, there's really only two options. That he was kidnapped or it was kidnapped by another party. I, like, highly doubt the villagers did this. If this, unless there's like some sort of like opposing group in the village, secret opposing group. But I have no idea. Even the classroom, which was normally bursting with bright, joking voices, seemed to be filled with a different sort of murmur today.
おはようございます、ケイチさん。
That was my stomach if you heard that. Satoto's happy at least.
来ました？
Oh, never mind.
なんだ
Dropping the
か大
bomb.
変なことになりましたわね。
俺はその村長さんって人をよく知らないんだが、ボケて徘徊してるだけじゃないのか？
村長さんはボケてなんかいませんですわ。お習字も教えるし、剣道も教える、はつらつな方でございますの。
Sportsmanship. Not bad.
僕と同じで、きっとどこかで迷子なのですよ。
We could got lost.
迷子いいね。
Oh.
お持ち帰り。
Getting lost is only cute because children like Rita-chan do it. A worn-out old man getting lost isn't moey in the slightest. It's just concerning. When my mind entertained dumb thoughts like that, our teacher arrived. Everyone rushed to their seats.
皆さん、おはようございます。
I just realized we never did that finale club activity for the tournament. I don't know, I just remembered because of the two boys in the class, since we're in the classroom. Wonder if we're ever gonna get to do that. I mean, it's kind of a hard place now since we're in the second half when things get spookier, but I want to see that. Do it for the boys. Good morning. The class greeting was normal, but the atmosphere in the room was heavy.
すでに聞いている方もいるかもしれませんが、昨日の夜、村長さんが夜遅くになってもお家に帰ってこなかったのだそうです。皆さんの中で昨日村長さんを見た人はいますか？
One or two hands went up in silence and they told her about having seen him. None of it seemed to be vital information, however, and everyone began whispering amongst themselves.
もしも村長さんを見かけた人は大人の人に教えてあげてくださいね。それでは授業を始めます。
After that, the same old lessons began. Probably no club activities. I feel like since Keiichi isn't putting anything together, maybe he should be like surprised that the mayor's the one who disappeared if he's assuming it's part of the Anakakushi thing. But we'll see. It's still the day, right? Keiichi can do it. The rumors once quieted blossomed in flowers again at lunchtime. I could hear a few different conversations. They were mostly related to the mayor's disappearance. Summing them all up, I came out with this. Ooh, is that the mayor's house? That's very nice. Yesterday evening, the mayor went to a meeting at the shrine's assembly hall. The meeting ended after the sun had fully set and everyone left. The elder's house was a bit far from the center of Hinamizawa. It was already late and Hinamizawa doesn't have a lot of lights outside. Nobody saw the mayor after the meeting. However, because he would have been hungry, he wouldn't have taken any side trips. He would have gone straight home. However, no matter how long his family waited, he never returned. Some thought there might have been an accident. They left no stone unturned and they searched from the irrigation channels to the water wells, and even the rice paddies, but they didn't find him. Of course, there was a limit to how far they could search in the middle of the night. I mean, they're probably searching right now, too. The police were gonna wait for daylight, then have young men of the town help search. If after all they still didn't find him, they were apparently even going to go looking in the mountains. Even now at this moment, the adults were probably all searching for him. The more they searched in vain, and the more time passed, the only thing that came to mind was the curse. Okay, he did make the connection. I mean, you should be a little bit relieved if he was assuming Shion and him are gonna get disappeared. Taken away. At least that's one crossed off the list. So only one of you might. The rumors of the Anakakushi, of the demoning away. Had he become this year's sacrifice to Yashiro-sama's curse, which had recently been occurring every year? But, like, no, because the sacrifice is performed by the village, so why would they be trying so hard? I mean, it could be a huge cover-up, but we kind of have information that Keiichi doesn't, that that even the Sonozakis were working hard to find him too. Actually, I guess that's not 100% fact since it's just from a phone call, but I feel like it's kind of believable, right? I don't know, I'm leaning more to him not being a sacrifice. The scary possibility, which everybody thought about but nobody could say aloud, was slowly but surely spreading throughout the village. Was he demoned away and offered as a sacrifice to quell Oyashiro-sama's anger? My classmates were whispering to each other that the curse didn't happen this year, so there shouldn't have been any sacrifices. I, on the other hand, I knew. The curse did happen again this year, and there were 2 people that died. This may sound strange, but I hadn't exactly thought the elder would be the one to go missing. Yeah. My reason was clear. Shion and I should have been a higher priority than him. The 4 of us were thieves that broke the taboo and set foot into the sacred ritual storehouse. If Tomotachi-san and Tatano-san had suffered mysterious deaths, then it should have been my and Shion's next turn.
今度こそ俺かシオンの番なのに。
Why do you say stuff out loud like that, Keiichi? Oh my god, why would he say that? Please don't show a Mion sprite the next second. I laughed painfully to myself. I yelled at Shion over the phone that I didn't want to end up being in such a terrifying situation, but now that someone other than me had disappeared, I could only think that I should have been the first to go. Onidofuchi, the bottomless swamp said to have been the place where they drowned sacrifices long ago. Just as it ran through my thoughts, the villagers must have also considered the swamp. Maybe police divers were plumbing in its depths even now. Like, I'm confused about what Keiichi's thinking. He thinks he's been sacrificed into the swamp, but he's also saying that the villagers were actively looking for him in the swamp. Who does he think did it? I'm confused. They probably wouldn't find anyone. Not a single missing person had ever been found. They'd always suspect Onidofuchi, but not once have they ever turned up a corpse from it. After all, it was a devilish, bottomless swamp from which no one who sins can ever return. I could hear someone telling their friend that in the classroom.
そういえば、サトシさんがいなくなったのも去年の今頃だったね。
First time bringing up Satoshi, right? No, actually, they might have brought up his. They name dropped someone from the Hojo family. Tatano or Tomotachi did when explaining the curse, but might not have been Satoshi. Huh? Satoshi? I've heard that name before. He was... Right, he disappeared because of last year's curse. The conversation was happening in the seat next to me, so I could hear it clearly.
サトシさんの時も確かこんな風に村中で探したんじゃなかったっけ？
So the transfer was a blatant lie. I thought I was under the assumption that transfer was like an excuse they used to cover, and then other people from the villagers would help look. But if the kids of the classroom know that he went missing, then it was only for outsiders, I guess.
あれも見つからなかったんだよね。あれって結局どうなったんだっけ？確か鬼隠しじゃなかったんだよね。
うん。貯金を全部下ろして家出しちゃったんだって聞いたよ。警察の人が名古屋駅で新幹線に乗るところを見た人がいるとか言ってたもん。
Ran away, huh? I wasn't that interested in the reason, which seemed understandable in this case. Everyone else who disappeared had their own reasons too. Either they were still on the run because they were criminals, or they were a trope that couldn't be found. Yeah, I mean, there's like the first case criminal. Him running away also sounds viable, but I think like all of them should be the same. Maybe like one outlier, but no, if there was one outlier, then the curse would happen, right? I don't know. It's not like any of them suddenly disappeared into thin air for no reason. But they disappeared. Someone disappeared whenever the curse took a life, as if by design. I don't like Keiichi's thought of what happened. It's kind of like the opposite of mine. Or not even the opposite, just a little different. He thinks that the curse kills people, then they sacrifice someone. I think they kill people, then sacrifice someone so the curse doesn't activate. That's the difference from mine and him. And I also think that some of the weird stuff, like the final scene with Rena and Mion, happened where their personalities were completely different. Happened because the curse activated, because the taboo was broken, but they didn't sacrifice anything because maybe they didn't realize it in time. Anyway, that's my understanding of the situation so far. You know, just my mid reading theory. From that point of view, it really might have been a demon in a way this time. The mayor's disappearance was the first such incident without a clear reason behind it. That's also true, like, that's actually true. That, the missing person usually is involved with the first people who died. And it's either, again, kind of supports my theory that it was an outside party who did it, or another possibility is that the mayor was working with Tomotaki as part of the group. But again, that's just inferring. No evidence yet of that. Of course, coming to that realization didn't help resolve anything.
今日は味の加減を間違えちゃったみたいだね。ごめん。
Normally, Rena would have devoured her lunch immediately, but today there was still a ton left. That wasn't because Rena's lunch didn't taste good or anything, though.
そんなことありませんのよ。レナさんのお弁当は今日もとっても美味でしたよ。
Satoto dips her chopsticks into Rena's bento box and pulls a bit of food out, one after the other. Satoto's so sweet. Aww.
おいしいおいしい。
Cheering up Rena.
今日も格別でしたよ。
Aww.
あれ、それかぼちゃのコロッケだよ。
Pumpkin. That sounds good.
大丈夫？
Oh, just gulping down pumpkin is pretty hard. Since pumpkin's really tough, right? I think. It's been a while since I've had pumpkin.
レナさんのかぼちゃならとっても美味しいですわ。
I guess she always had the snail tooth, huh? It's so weird. Why is it showing? I don't remember it all the time. The only time I remember the snail tooth was in that weird imagining thing where he was trying to imagine Satoto as a good girl, but then she still trapped him anyways in his imagination. I guess it just shows sometimes when she's acting cute. Or is it a body double? No, I don't think so. That'd be a little silly. Did Satoto dislike pumpkin? Regardless, she forced herself to smile and shoved more into her mouth. This is adorable. Surprising Ren's not howling right now. Everyone knew. Nobody's lunch tasted very good today. Satoto kept shoveling it down, repeating her remark on how good it was.
そんなにうまいなら俺もいただかないとな。このままじゃ全部貞子に食われちまう。
Good guy, Keiichi. At least he's not isolating himself from the group. That was really painful to
あんまりにも美味
read
しいので、
last time.
ぜひケイイチさんにも召し上がってほしいですわね。
たまには俺も年上らしい寛大さを見せないとな。よし、遠慮するな。今日は俺の分まで食ってよし。
うわ
Oh my god. She really, really hated pumpkin, didn't she? Again, I haven't had pumpkin too much, but I feel like it was alright. I mean, pumpkin pie is delicious, but that's completely different, right? Also, come on, this is thumbnail worthy. I haven't had a Satoto thumbnail for so long. Need to show her some more love again. That made it all the more touching to see Satoto's own brand of generosity. I grabbed her head and started stroking it. Satoto, in a somewhat exaggerated fashion, was bawling, tears streaming down her face. Oh my
嘘だよ。
god.
そんなにうまいものを譲るほど大人にはなれないよ。レナも食え。俺のは夕べのおでんの残り物だが、おでんは一晩経ってからがうまいんだぜ。
Gonna take all these shots just in case. This is a randomly wholesome scene in the middle of something serious, but I appreciate it.
お大根が綺麗な色に透き通ってて美味しそう。じゃあいただこうかな。
Rena reached out with her chopsticks, and at last the usual lunchtime atmosphere began to return. That was only at our desk, however. The dark tales over Yashiro-sama's curse, which had recurred for 5 years in a row, didn't cease. I mean, I guess it must be really hard for Satoto too, with it happening to her family like twice. Or I mean like 4 members of her family, so that might be why she also started to brighten up the mood. I just skipped something. The dark tales of Oyashiro-sama's curse, which had recurred for 5 years in a row, didn't cease. The whole classroom remained stuck in this somber mood. Oyashiro-sama's curse had happened for 5 years straight. Everyone had wanted the previous year to be the last. What was Oyashiro-sama's curse anyway? They were going to build a dam in Hinamizawa. The people building it were bad, so they were cursed. I would admit that much. Still, the dam project was frozen years ago, wasn't it? So why was the curse stubbornly persisting? I hit myself on the cheek to perk myself back up. Everyone was trying so hard to brighten the mood, I couldn't go straight back to thinking about the curse like that. I forced the grim story out of my head. Driving Oyashiro-sama's curse out of my thoughts was actually a good idea. In the end, that meant I would also be driving away the most terrifying thought of all, that I could be the curse's next target.
しかしミオンは遅いな。あいつのお手洗いってこんなに長いのか？
Miyana had said she was going to wash her hands and left, and she hadn't come back yet.
多分どっかでお昼寝してるんだと思う。昨べはきっと遅くまで村長さんを探すお手伝いをしてたんだと思うから。
I smiled wryly and let out a sigh. Today was no good. However much we tried to lighten the mood, things always came back to the mayor. It was just a no good day. I had just transferred here recently, so the shock of a curse happening 5 years ago was an unimaginably big one. Maybe I do need to appreciate that.
村長さんはね、ちっちゃかった頃、みーちゃんのことをすごく可愛がってくれたんだって。いたずら盛りのみーちゃんをすごく可愛がってくれたってよく話してたな。
I see. Mian was in shock too. Someone disappearing at all because of a curse was a very scary thing. If the sacrifice was someone you knew, though, then the shock must be 100 times worse. Okay, so I see. So what Teichi thinks is the curse killed the people, but then the curse is also sacrificing someone to like felt the anger within itself. You know, it as a curse, as a, I guess, as a, I don't know, as a thing. That's interesting, I guess. I don't really like it though. Satoko, as if she'd come to the same conclusion, bit her lower lip and looked downward.
そういえばリカちゃんも遅いな。
I wonder how much Satoko knows about her family being cursed away, because I feel like her being such an honest person would kind of say more about it, but it feels like she just never brings it up, or almost. But it could be her hiding it, but it seems like odd, just a bit odd, almost like she doesn't really fully know what happened.
ひょっとしてリカちゃんも仲良くお昼寝か？
リカはそんなに遅くまではお付き合いしませんでしたわ。
Of course, Satoko knows everything about Rika all the time. It really makes me think they're living together, but we haven't really confirmed that.
リカがあくびをしたら皆さんみんなしておやすみなさいませおやすみなさいませって。
Now that she mentioned it, there's a lot of old people rubbing their prayer beads in fervent gratitude towards Rika-chan during the festival too. An image of the indulgent elderly came to mind. Had Rika-chan discovered a way to get herself to be pampered like that?
リカちゃんって何気に年寄りのアイドルだな。理想の孫娘像ってやつなんだな。
Wow, didn't expect this music, but I appreciate it.
そんなの知らない。でもリカちゃんのあくびなら見てみたい。きっとね、ふわーって。
Missed it.
お持ち帰り。
Wow.
そんなに可愛いとも思いませんけど。
This is another shot, right? Possible thumbnails. But I like the crying Satoko better.
ふわーって喉の奥まで覗けるくらいの大あくびでしたよ。リカちゃんの大あくび。はー。
Ren is handy at times like these. I finally managed a heartfelt laugh. Oh right, I'm on day duty today, aren't I? I need you to water the flower garden. Oh, you're trying to see Mion. Maybe Mion and Rika talking as representatives of their family for a serious meeting? Or something else. The garden is right outside the teacher's lounge too, so they can immediately tell if you don't do it right.
リカちゃんのだけじゃなく、さとこちゃんのも可愛いと思うわ。あくび。
Cute. I agree.
窒息。ちらっと見えた。可愛いの見えた。さとこちゃんのあくびも可愛い。お持ち帰り。
Rena is strangling Satoko. I don't think that counts as yawning. You know, Rena is... I can't say it out loud, but she's a notorious censored, isn't she? Sweat. I don't actually know. Hearing Satoko make a weird noise like that, like a chicken being strangled, was kind of hilarious, and I couldn't help but laugh. At some points, the classroom had erupted into laughter too. Maybe Rena was doing it on purpose. Even if she wasn't, this nonsense was a welcoming sight. Anyway, let's get over to the flowers while I still have time. Slowly and quietly, lest I destroy the room's newfound peace, I left the classroom. Oh, we're gonna see something. Also, I appreciate the person who gave me the song download, and I think he even didn't give the title on purpose just in case it spoiled anything. I also just didn't have a title. This is so good. I don't know why. This is definitely my favorite so far anyways. Again, this is part of the new soundtrack too. Like, I will definitely patch the old songs for the next one just to give it a try, but this is my favorite from the new OST. For now, I don't know if they'll change it out, but the songs have been pretty similar to Watanagashi. There might have been like one or two different ones, but Yeah. The watering can was hanging up outside the kitchen. This building had originally been an all-male forestry service building, so there was apparently nothing so thoughtful as a garden here before. When they decided to have school share the space, they built one there as a modest gesture of appreciation. But, well, the flower bed, it was a little longer than you'd expect. It went all around. It went all around. It went all over the place. It was so big one would need to refill the watering can 5 or 6 times to get it all done. I was doing this together with a kid who was also thankfully on day duty today. Okay, so maybe we aren't gonna bump into them if he's with someone. She was in the lowest grade though, and had a full size smaller than even Rika-chan. Wow. Tiny. I could have made this kid who would struggle to lift the full water can help me with this. Okay, never mind. We're not gonna see something. For this, if one was placed on day duty with someone one night, they'd do it all for you, so it'd be cake.
悪態をついても仕方ないな。諦めて仕事を始めるか。
Watering can in hand, just as I was about to leave the building, the old man from the forestry office addressed me.
兄ちゃん、倉庫裏に菜園があるだろ。だいぶくたびれかけたぞ。
Oh no. Extra watering stuff.
あそこにも水をやってあげな。
ああ、あのカレー菜園ですか。
Curry vegetable garden. I wonder whose that is.
じゃがいもとか人参とかカレーの具しか栽培してないっていう。
That's funny. Using the school property as their own garden. It's definitely the personal garden of our curry-loving teacher, but making students responsible for its upkeep is getting them involved in our personal affairs. I agree. It's not really professional, but it is a small town, so I feel like it's probably something people would do anyways. I couldn't say that to his face though, so I gave up and decided to carry out my day duties. The sunlight out front was strong. The great chorus of cicadas was strongly underlining how nothing was different today than yesterday. I passed by the classroom, and I don't know how it happened, but Ren and Satoto were in the middle of a huge melee. While I was gone, the kids had arranged all the desks in a circle, forming a ring while everyone was cheering them on. No, dude, why'd that have to happen while we were away? I want to see it. Yeah, that's how it should be. Once school ended, we would need to return to reality, where talk of the elders' disappearance would once again be all over the place. I wanted everyone to forget about everything and have fun, just like yesterday, if only while they were at school. In that sense, the total whirling elbow and Renner's backwards flying spin kick made for a pleasant sight. Yo, is the total really going hand to hand against Renner? She might be stronger than I thought. Even if, as a result, they flipped over my desk. Ah, that's my pencil box. Gah, I'll let it happen today. I set to work, hastily watering everything, wanting nothing more than to be done as soon as possible. That should about do it. No sooner than I thought, then I remembered that I had to water the teacher's curry vegetable garden too.
めんどくさいが、やらないと後でいろいろと不利益なことがありそうな気がする。
I gave up, filled the can with water again, and headed behind the warehouse. Here we go. Oh, never mind. Maybe I'm just misreading the situation. Or misreading, I don't know. This was a place students didn't like to go. It was always, isn't this very, like, hid during the zombie game? This was a place students didn't like to go. It was always damp here, and you couldn't discard the possibility of slugs and pill buds around. I mean, I know what slugs are. What are pill buds? That's a Google. Pill buds. Oh, it's those things. What did we call them? We had our own name for this. We called them potato buds. Or potato beetles or something. Back in elementary school and daycare. I think they're just in Canada in general. Those were cute, and they like roll up into a ball. So when I ran across her in a place like that, I was surprised. Hey, Rika. I was actually expecting Mion.
ダッグリカちゃんか驚かせるなよ
Rika-chan was just standing there like a puppet, devoid of life. I was the only one who was startled here. Rika-chan didn't even seem to react to my
リ
appearance.
カちゃん
Finally, she noticed me. Whoa, what is that expression? She looks like she's pissed off. What the heck? Her expression was clearly abnormal. Yeah. There was red under her eyes, stained with tears and dirt. Oh, she was crying over the mayor. There was blades of grass stuck in her hair too, and her claws slipped as she'd fallen to the ground.
リカちゃんひょっとして怪我したのか転んだとか
違うのですよ
Face looked so angry.
違うのです
Rita-chan said in the brightest voice she could manage as she rubbed her eyes. She didn't look anywhere near normal though.
何があったんだまさか倉庫の屋根の上で昼寝とかしてて落ちたとか
That's funny.
僕のことはいいのですそれよりも圭一に聞きたいことがあるのです
Don't deflect it, Rita, and also don't ask something creepy about the mayor. Or actually about Tomotaki, probably. Rita-chan walked over and clung to me. At first, I thought she was playing a trick on me. Eventually, however, I realized it was so that I wouldn't run away from the question she was about to ask. I shuddered.
俺になんだよ
It's gonna be the same questions, isn't it? She looked straight into my eyes. Her upturned eyes bored right into me. It was as though they were trying to pull the answer out from my own eyes without actually asking me the question. Well, the thing is, everyone can read Keiichi's mind, bro. So it doesn't even matter if he lies, because they just know what he's thinking all the time, right? It was scary, so I averted my eyes from hers.
圭一
This is an angry Rika. We've never seen this. I guess this is like the creepiest Rika we've seen. Hopefully we won't see it for Satoto. I find it really hard to think of a angry Satoto since she's so like pure. But this is
お
creepy.
祭りの晩に何か悪いことをしましたか
My body gave a jolt from its very core. I guess they're looking. If you look at this way, that means everyone's looking for the source of the curse, but maybe Mian said that Keiichi didn't do it. And that's why the curse is still happening, because they're looking for someone else. But everyone else is suspecting. Like, they're trying to find the source, right? My body gave a jolt from its very core. Rika-chan, who was clinging to me, might have felt my shiver. A nervous tingle crawled up from my feet, and after going on my back and freezing my entire body, it made its way into my brain.
圭一本当に覚えはありませんか
My head began to throb. I don't understand anything. Mion asked me. Uishi-san asked me. Shion asked me. And now Rita-chan was asking me? We thought nobody knew about what we did last night, but in fact everyone knew. That is very strange. I mean, if one person knows, they can just spread it. They all knew, and they came to ask me. Again and again, until I admitted it. When I thought about it, it was pretty clear the whole thing was out in the open. After all, don't Tomotachi-san and Tatsuno-san's death prove it?
圭一
How should I respond? We never should have entered the forbidden storehouse, and even though I regretted it so much, was she saying it wasn't enough? However, I had all but decided what I was going to say.
俺もそこが悪いからな悪いことの覚えが多すぎて見当がつかないよ
Nice deflection, as always. Just as I had with all the others, I evaded the question. Rita-chan stared at me with innocent eyes. Her eyes were so painful that I had to look away. After a few moments of mutual silence, Rita-chan released me.
変なことを聞いてごめんなさいなのです。忘れてくださいなのですよ。
She said, smiling her usual smile. Then, tap tap tap, she went running off as if nothing had happened. As she retreated in silence, I could feel her accusing me.
リカちゃん。
If she didn't hear my voice, then I was going to give up. However, she heard it. Ooh, she gonna confide in Rita? Honestly, I feel like, I'd say Rita-chan's probably the best person to talk to. But, like, I don't know. I mean, we know Rita-chan's sly, and I don't really think she's bad, but she is part of the 3 families, so she probably does at least have some sort of understanding about what goes on in the village, right? So maybe she's not the most... I mean, I think the most... Is there even anyone trustworthy? Maybe his parents. I was gonna say Satoko, but she might just blurt it out when talking to Rita or something, so you can't really trust her, even though I don't think she's bad at all. I still think Mion's actually a decent idea, because I'm pretty sure, like, Mion really likes Keiichi, so she might be able to protect him, if anything. But this, I don't know, this might be okay too. I was the one who had questions now. Still, asking any of them could just be a half-assed way of admitting what I did.
なあ、リカちゃん。
はいなのです。
She's back to normal, but if everyone knows anyway, then I should be able to at least ask this, right? Why is everyone asking me about the night of the festival? That evening, had I done something that wrong? I felt plenty sorry about it, and I only looked anyway. I didn't break anything or steal anything. Really. Still, Tomotachi-san and Takano-san, they died so miserably. Since those two had come to such an end, there's obviously no way it would forgive only me. See the first part. The first part's good. Why is everyone asking me about the night? That's actually a good question. Rita-chan cutely tilted her head in confusion and waited for me to say something. If I were to admit what happened that night, though, she might suddenly do a 180 as if flipping a switch. That would make sense. Rita-chan was the shrine maiden. Yeah, maybe it's... I mean, yeah. Well, I feel like the first question's fine, but maybe don't admit breaking into the shrine storehouse to the shrine maiden. I wasn't really thinking about that. That's probably not the best person to do it. Maybe the only answer is Satoko, to be completely safe, and just hope she doesn't tell anyone else. Because, again, she's the only one I think that's, like, 100% innocent. With Rita-chan being maybe innocent, but she obviously knows stuff, right? So probably not. And again, just give up to Mion. She'll save you, hopefully. She was at least likely to forgive me about breaking the taboo, wasn't she? Upon reflection, wouldn't telling her be more terrifying than telling Mion or Oishi-san? I guess Oishi-san's technically safe, too. Like, he's not gonna kill you, but he's definitely gonna use that to his advantage and use you to investigate the village, which is probably gonna get you killed anyways, but... Rita-chan could just give up and leave, couldn't she? She didn't. She only was quietly waiting for me to say it myself. Say it, Keiichi, my bruh. If you really are sorry, then you should say so. Of course it's normal to hesitate, given the crazy way Tomotachi and Takano-san died. A pulping machine called Chaos was grinding up my brain. The juice ran out of it, turned into big droplets of sweat which began to fall.
Keiichi?
Rita-chan suddenly straightened up and trying to pat me on the head.
ケイイチが何を悩んでいるのか僕にはよくわからないのです。
I had nothing to say to that. I lowered my head a little so Rita-chan's palm could reach it. She petted me kind of like one would a cat.
境内の裏を少し行ったところに大きな倉庫があるのをご存知ですか？
Yikes.
西宮殿と言いますです。
My breath literally stopped. Rita-chan, though, wasn't acting in a coarse way at all. The fact that Rita-chan... I mean, yeah, so Rita-chan does know the implements in the thing. She probably can assume that they're, like, torture stuff. So, yeah. I don't know if Rita-chan did anything bad, though. I think, again, she's more like an idol, and people just, like, respect her and stuff, more than her actually being part of stuff. But I could be wrong about that. It wouldn't surprise me if she was in on it, but I like to imagine that she's not.
お祭りの晩、その西宮殿に猫さんが入り込んだのだそうです。
猫？
はい、猫さんです。にゃーにゃーなのです。
That was cute. Don't be cute during this creepy music. Rita-chan knew. She realized I was in fear. I could tell she was desperately trying to choose the right words so she wouldn't scare me. Okay, but it looks like she is doing something for Keiichi.
猫さんは前から西宮殿の中を探検してみたいと思っていました。
I mean, I can see Takano as a cat.
でも僕が意地悪をして中を見せてあげなかったのです。なので祭りの夜、猫さんは我慢できなくなって中に入ってみましたのです。
The cat. It was clearly supposed to be Takano-san. Or wait, was it supposed to be me? I feel like it's supposed to be Takano-san. So maybe Takano asked Rita if she could see it, and obviously saying no, she just ended up breaking in.
実は中には猫さんが怖がるものがたくさんあったのです。
Rita-chan made a cute gesture like the ghost was coming out to frighten me.
猫さんはびっくり仰天。一目散に逃げ出してガタガタブルブルニャーニャーで大変なのです。
This is like both creepy and adorable at the same time. The powers of Rita.
その猫が誰だって言うんだ？
猫さんは猫さんです。にゃーにゃー。
Oh my god, stop it. I'm like getting shivers, but like... what a weird feeling. Rita-chan was still avoiding saying it. The cat, though, without a doubt, me. Yeah, I guess. It does sound more like Keiichi was terrified and amazed. Except I guess the first part doesn't really make sense that the cat was asking Rita for permission to get in, so that makes me think it's not him, but
リカちゃん、
I don't know.
頼む。教えてくれ。その猫さんはこれからどうしたらいい？
Maybe it was a desperate question to ask. I had sort of admitted to being the cat.
猫さんは猫さんですから、ニャーニャー泣いてるだけで大丈夫ですよ。
大丈夫ってそんないい加減な。
ニャーニャー泣いてるだけではダメなのですか？
Jeez. Rita-chan and I have put together an entire conversation using cat as a code word. Watanagashi has been bad at interpreting stuff. So, I didn't say it directly, but I had already admitted it. I didn't want to end up like those two. I didn't want to be a sacrifice like Shion said. That's what I thought, so I stubbornly remained silent. But now, that's enough.
泣いてるだけじゃダメなんだ。猫さんがいたずら心で忍び込んだのを。
犬さん。
そうだ。
The Sonozakis. They're not true words. I bet he kind of said that without knowing. But they called like the Sonozaki like the dog patrol, right? Or the guard dogs of Hinamizawa.
犬さんなんだ。猫さんのところへ代わる代わるやってきて忍び込んだだろうって問いただしてくるんだ。
After I said that, Rita-chan's expression clouded over. She was trying to hide it, but I already noticed her eyes darkening.
リカちゃん。
The silence was frightening, so I spurred her on. At that point, Rita-chan grinned. Happy grin?
大丈夫ですよ。猫さんは 僕が守ってあげます。
No, Rita. Huh? I thought for a moment that I misheard those words, so dependable they were.
猫さんはとても怖がっていますが、本当は
I
そんな
mean,
に大変な
if
ことで
Rita
はないの
protects
です。
us, then we're probably safe, right?
何匹かの犬さんがきっと勘違いしてるだけなのだと思います。
そんなに大変なことじゃないって。
猫さんの心配しすぎなのです。僕がきっと何とかしてあげますですよ。
Oh, Rita. Rita-chan will do something about it? I don't even know left from right at that moment, so Rita-chan didn't look all that dependable.
ちょっと大変ですけど頑張りますですよ。ファイト王なのです。
She clenched her fist and stuck it in the air. Rita-chan said the cat can just keep meowing. She said to leave it all to her. Is that really all it took to resolve this whole thing?
本当にリカちゃんで大丈夫なのか。
僕が頑張らないと犬さんも大変なことになってしまうかもしれないのです。
I had no idea what Rita-chan was talking about anymore. She had been talking to me under the assumption that I was aware of certain things. So at first I understood her. Around the middle, though, I stopped understanding anything. However, one thing I did know was not to worry and leave it to her. Rita-chan straightened up once, and then patted me on the head and smiled. I was so moved by that reassuring feeling that I couldn't help but start to cry.
ごめん。猫さんも本当にちょっとしたいたずらのつもりだったんだ。こんなことになるなんて全然。
猫さんは臆病すぎです。だから見せたくなかったのです。
She was right. It was far too shocking for someone to see based on a little bit of interest alone. That's why it made it so difficult to look in the first place, wasn't it?
リカちゃん、その猫さんはどうなるんだろう。忍び込んだ2匹の猫さんがあの晩に。
I'd heard Tomotachi-san and Takano-san's deaths were being kept a secret. Rika-chan might not have known about it.
富武と高野ですか？
I gave a start at the sudden mention of actual names. Though it's weird to do that at this point.
忘れると良いのです。
My spine froze. Again.
忘れる？
はい。あの二人のことを思い出すことは圭一にとって良くないことなのです。考えれば考えるほど怖くなるだけです。だから早く忘れた方がいいのです。
She said something so enormously terrifying without letting the smile on her face waver at all.
どこで聞いたかわかりませんが、きれいさっぱりお風呂でゴシゴシするみたいに忘れちゃうと良いのですよ。
忘れるって言ったって、リカちゃんは知ってるんだろう。あの二人がどういう死に方を。
どんな死に方をしてもそれは圭一とは関係のないことなのです。
Rita declared that in a flat voice. Nothing to do with me, so forget about it. The girl before me, she was innocent and lovable, and even seemed trustworthy, but suddenly she took another dimension. Don't get involved with their deaths. I'll help you, Teichi. Those two contradictory statements twisted and distorted my image of the girl in front of me.
シオンはあいつはどうなるんだ？
It might have been dangerous to mention Shion's name, but I couldn't stop myself from asking. Rika-chan saw through everything anyway. There was no way I was going to fool her or keep anything from her at this point.
姉妹猫の妹ですか？にゃーにゃー。
そうだ。妹猫だ。
Rita-chan appeared to think upon this for a moment. It was hard for me to endure even this momentary silence.
姉猫は怒ってます。妹猫が悪いことをしたのでとても怒ってます。
姉猫って。
That should only mean Mion. I recall being questioned by her yesterday.
ケイチ、姉猫はとても機嫌が悪いです。しばらくの間そっとしてあげてほしいなのです。
Not in a good mood. Those words sent a shiver through me. Mion was mad. She was mad that we entered the ritual storehouse.
今日から部活はなしにしましょう。
なんでだよ。
Aww.
そっとしてあげてほしいからなのです。
Rita-chan ended her sentence with such force that I couldn't say anything in response. Hey, Teichi Maibara, don't disobey Rita-chan right now. She's the only one who said she'll help me right now. I'll leave things to her just as she said to. I mean, she even said that the cats should just keep meowing. I'll forget everything like she said. I'll leave everything to her. I'll forget about everything, about Takuma-san and Tomotachi-san, and what I did that night. Just then, we heard the bell far away, marking the end of our lunch break.
じゃあ校舎に戻ろうか。
ケイチ、
As if she noticed how miserable I was about leaving everything to her and fleeing the scene, Rita-chan called out to stop me.
勘違いの犬さんが猫さんに噛みつこうとしたら知らせてくださいね。
The misunderstanding dog. Shh, I think she's not talking about Mion, because Mion's a big cat. So the dog's probably Uishi. She put it in such a cute sounding way, but the true meaning behind those words was an eerie one.
勘違いの犬さんってなんだ。
村長を噛んだ犬さんです。どうして村長を噛んだのか
Oh,
僕には分かりません。噛むならいたずら猫さんを先に噛むはずなのにです。
who would that be? If it is Uishi, then that confirms my thought that it was a third party. The flow of blood in my body felt like it completely stopped for a moment. Rita-chan had admitted it. The sacrifice of that terrible calamity. She admitted that if they were to happen again, it would be Shion or I. I didn't know what was true about the girl standing before me. My suspicion gave way to fear and nearly began to change into anger. Was she a savior who would protect me? Or a stranger trying to capture and kill me for the sake of a horrible tradition? I had no idea what was true.
ごめんなさいなのです。猫さんが怖がっているのにまた怖がるようなことを言ってしまいました。ごめんなさいなのです。
Rita-chan bowed so quickly it looked like her head had been pulled downward. Still, she was right. I was cowering. I could distinctly feel my body shaking violently. So when Rita-chan reached out her hand to pat me on the head, I pulled away without thinking.
ごめん。
Rita-chan made a very sad face, but I couldn't bring myself to put out my head for her again. That day, Rita-chan said she wasn't feeling up for club activities, so she suggested we don't bother. There's always vetoes when someone doesn't feel up to it. Brenda and the others seemed really disappointed. The big sister cat is not in a good mood. I remember Rita-chan's words and quietly stole a glance at Mion's expression. If I could forget the way she questioned me yesterday, though, her behavior was the same as it always was. Don't trust it. That was really interesting conversation. Did that chapter end? No, it's just a break. Oh, we're gonna have to end the video. It's already been an hour. But yeah, I guess that confirms that Rita's like really involved in something, and she knows a lot. Which is interesting. I mean, it makes sense since she's one of the leaders of the village, I guess. But I always just thought she would take an idol role. But it looks like she's actually like at least knows what's happening, right? I don't know who the dog would be. Like, why would it be Uishi? Because I don't know. They said misunderstanding, and I can't think of anyone that would do that. Again, maybe it's misunderstood. What if it's like, what if it's because Mion said that it wasn't Keiichi, so then the dog misunderstood who it should attack and attacked the mayor instead? It's the only thing I can really get out of it. But yeah, that was interesting. I guess we have to look at Rika in a different light from now on, even in future volumes, about how much of a bigger role she plays, how she might even be part of the. There's the fact that this is knowledge to her means it's not just the Sonozaki's acting independently. We can think about it more as a whole village thing. But yeah, that's interesting. I'll end it here. Maybe I'll talk about it more in the episode recap next episode. But I hope you enjoyed. This was fun, and I will see you Monday. Back on normal schedule too. This was a fun week though. Thanks for watching. Bye.